All right, everyone, this is Norvellcentral coming back at you with another YouTube video. And at this time of the recording, I have about 1,540 subscribers. So I really do appreciate all the love and the support on my last two videos that I've had. It's gotten a lot of engagement so far, and I really do appreciate the love and the support on those. But I just kind of wanted to get into kind of a funner topic. And yes, I did say fun is in kind of a pun of what's going to be happening in this video. I think Florida State has really had fun playing football this season. I think it's really fun to watch Florida State so far as they've gone through the season and went through a 9-3 record, which is kind of flashback a little bit. You know, you've looked at a lot of people and fans that were concerned about Mike Norvell going into his third season at this point. You know, he had the 3-6 record in 2020, probably should have been 3-9 if they would have played all because of COVID-19. You turn around and had a 5-7 season last year, including the loss to Jacksonville State and the heartbreaker against Notre Dame. The trend kind of continues there. You know, they had the 0-4 start, and you kind of thought, okay, coming into this offseason, as he is as a 5-7 football coach, will they hire someone else? Will they kind of have a short leash? Will he be on the hot seat? What'll happen? Will Deion come to Florida State? There was all kind of speculation that was coming right at Florida State fans. Some Florida State fans were kind of on the fence. Of course, I always understand this, as most fans understand, Florida State is a championship level program with championship level expectations. And when you don't fulfill those expectations, of course, fans are going to get frustrated. The coaching staff understands that. The players understand that. Even recruits understand that. Florida State is a special place. But the last couple of years, specifically the last 4 years when we've had losing seasons, there's been a lot of different methods going on there, and we just had to get back on the right track. I couldn't have really envisioned. Coming into the season, I thought we were going to have a 7-5 record. I thought the floor was going to be like 4 wins. The ceiling was going to be about 9 as best case scenario, and that's exactly what it was. Best case scenario for Florida State. There, like when you look at this team, you really think about a likable team, and this is probably the first likable team that you've had on Florida State since 2016, and even then they got blown out by Louisville. To Lamar Jackson early in the season and kind of bounced back strong at the end of the year. Florida State, they're led by Jordan Travis at quarterback. He returned to be able to start for the 2023 season. I think that's a very good get for Florida State, 30 total touchdowns. Fans were kind of wondering about his injury concerns that he's had so far, but he's kind of shut those up. You talk about Tate Rodemaker. This is a fun experience because guess what? When Jordan Travis got hurt, guess who come in and actually delivered against Louisville late in that game to Johnny Wilson and had those pivotal moments there and kept Florida State fighting the rest of the season as Jordan Travis came back in the next game. That was Tate Rodemaker. I think that's a big key for him and a big confidence booster as you go through the rest of the season with him and even into next season. I think that can give him some glimmer of hope that he could be the answer after Jordan Travis leaves. We'll see how that pans out. You got a guy like Trey Benson, a redemption story from Oregon. He only had 6 carries for 22 yards and a touchdown. It really wasn't a great time for him. He was literally left with a lower body injury that was really severe. You didn't really know how he was going to bounce back. This staff gave a chance on him, and guess what happened? He delivered. He's got 965 yards. He's looking to become the 5th rusher in Seminole history for the first time, I think, since 1992, if I remember correctly, or 87. I can't remember which one. The 5th rusher to eclipse 1,000 yards. I think that's very impressive to see. Trajan Ward, another option as well that's been really, really key for Florida State. Lawrence to Philly. There's been a whole lot of running options that a 3-headed monster was doing really well. Wide receiver position. Everybody talked about how Ron Dugans wasn't this and wasn't that, going to be on the hot seat, whatever you may see. And Florida State's wide receiving core has delivered this season. I mean, it has been really, really special to see. And I think that's something that you can really hang your hat on because this was a wide receiver core last year that literally did not create separation at all. Now you're getting a 6'7" Johnny Wilson, even though he's not perfect with some of the drop passes that he's had. Micah Pittman's been a very consistent punt returner and also a slot receiver as well. Ontario Wilson, however, he's going to be leaving after this season. Cam McDonald, you know, the list goes on and on. There's a lot of talented guys there. Malik McClain is another guy I think of. And you're only getting better as Hakeem Williams is going to be coming in and signing on December 21st, hopefully to Florida State. That'll be really big for Florida State going forward there. Tight end position, I know they're leaving Cam McDonald, but you have Biscuit, you know, Marquise and Douglas. You also have other guys like Jackson West and Wyatt Rector and some of the guys like that are making an impact. Wyatt Rector may be leaving after 2 because he did walk on senior day. We'll see how that pans out. But defensively, I think they've done a really good job this season. Jared Verse has stepped up admirably. We'll see if he goes to the NFL draft. I talked about that in my previous video with him having 7.5 sacks. You talk about a Fabian Lovett, who I think has been a very, very pivotal piece. We'll see if he comes back. It's going to be really interesting to see there with him having a kid. You're also looking at a Patrick Payton, who I think is very young. He's got 4 sacks so far this season in a reserve role, and he's coming into his own. And maybe can he be that next Jared Verse, Jermaine Johnson type of player? That could be a really special get. You got the linebackers with Randy Shannon. Everybody talked about why was he elevated to linebackers coach and co-defensive coordinator? Why can't we recruit linebackers? And now you're seeing Blake Nicholson and all those guys, DeMarco Ward being able to come in. Tatum Bethune was a big guy that he was able to get because of him being a defense coordinator at UCF. I think there is a whole lot of great options. I mean, you look at the secondary with Jamie Robinson, Akeem Dent. Marion Cooper had a little bit more of a down year, but I do think that he has potential to be that next superstar if he can be. Azaria Thomas is also another guy that I think can be really, really good. Renato Green, for example, he was a corner that nobody really thought of later in the season. Everybody thought he was going to get kind of surpassed by a Sam McCall or an Azaria Thomas. Next thing you know, he is one of Florida State's best corners. Can that continue, and can he be able to get on the right track? You talk about a Ryan Fitzgerald that everybody was kind of counting out of, and now he's kind of coming into his own a little bit more. Not saying he's super consistent, but he is making an improvement from what he was in the season prior in there, and just kind of getting back that technique, I think, is very important. And like I said before, Micah Pittman with those punt returns, I think, are very impressive because I did not see a punt on the ground this year. So it's just everything is kind of going into piece now. You're seeing Florida State fans, they had a sellout for the Boston College game. Yeah, I mean, it was a terrible Boston College team at this point, but Florida State was going for a 4-0 record, and you turn around and have that. Florida State had that losing streak against Wake Forest, NC State, and Clemson, albeit because of some injuries that we had so far. It kind of limited our abilities of being able to be successful. And then you run off a 5-game winning streak to cap off a 9-3 season. Now you're going to go play in a Cheez-It Bowl in Orlando against Oklahoma. And even some of the boosters we're talking about with the season, with the ticket sales for the bowl game, everybody is wanting to get those tickets, and they may be sold out of their allotment and double their allotment at this point. So people may not even get to have the tickets for the boosters and have to order off of third-party sites. That's just something you really have to watch out for. But in terms of that, I will say that I do have a SeatGeek ambassador code that you can be able to use. Norvell Central is what you can use to get $20 off of any $50 purchase or more on SeatGeek.com. So if you are trying to look for some bowl tickets and you can't be able to get them through the boosters or Seminole.com or anything like that, you can be able to go to SeatGeek and purchase those. I know the SeatGeek, the Cheez-It Bowl is also doing their official website where they're selling them based off of Ticketmaster, I believe, if I remember correctly, to do that. So be sure to get your tickets. Come support the Noles in Orlando. I think it's going to be a very, very great environment. It's going to be on December 29th at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, I believe. So it's going to be very impressive to see how the Noles turn out in that one. I think there's going to be a lot of Noles fans there to cheer on this team, and I think it's very exciting to see this team fighting and being able to participate in this bowl. Like Jamie Robinson and Jared Verse are going to be able to kind of participate in this game and be pivotal parts. I think that's not a lot of things you see in college football nowadays. And I think they understand that in the culture change of Mike Norvell through his 3rd season, going into his 4th, he can really springboard and elevate this team to new heights. And I think that's very important to see sometimes. But I really do appreciate everyone for watching the video today. I hope you all enjoyed, because Florida State is very, very fun to watch this season. It's been a great sight to see, and I think it's going to build upon itself as we go into year 4 of the Mike Norvell era. And this offseason is going to be really, really pivotal for this team going forward there, just to get some needs and positional needs and stuff like that, coaching needs, whatever it is. I think Florida State is going to do a great job this season, and I cannot wait until the bowl game coming up. But if you all have any questions, feel free to DM me on my Instagram account at Norvell Central or my Twitter account at Central Norvell. And I hope you all have a great rest of the day. And as always, go Noles.